So I want to open this video and say it's arguable that Captain America has the best trilogy in the MCU, but that's not arguable, that's actually fact. Actually, when I really come to think about it, I think it's one of the only comic book trilogies ever where each subsequent sequel gets better and better and increases what the last one did in terms of stakes and how far they go. Now, that's not to say that Civil War is my favorite, because the first Avenger is actually my favorite, but I think The Winter Soldier is the best movie. Well, recently during an interview, the Winter Soldier himself, Sebastian Stan, was asked what is his favorite Captain America movie. And while he had to think about it, he said the obvious choice was The Winter Soldier. And he had a few things to say about it, specifically the fact that, well, he's subtitled in the actual title of the movie was pretty cool considering it's the character he's actually playing, but also the fact that it was a cryptic and strange role he had to take on, where he wasn't really in there delivering a bunch of lines or, giving these monologues or speeches or anything. Essentially, he had to do physical acting. So there wasn't much for him in there, so he had to tell this physical story of him being tortured and show that look in his eyes that he's been brainwashed. And then when he meets Captain America and when he starts to remember, he tried to convey all of this action and all of this emotion that's going on in his head and physically that he's putting out there, and try to roll that all into one so it's representative. And I think when you watch the movie, you definitely get a sense for that. Like, towards the movie, he starts easing up, and definitely when he starts remembering, it's a different character in there. And to me personally, I think he's played the role very well. And I think when it comes to it, I think many people's favorite Captain America movie will be The Winter Soldier. And it's for the reasons that he lists and many more. It's also the fact that it doesn't even feel like a comic book movie most of the time. It just feels like a good action thriller, which is another great thing about it that separates it from the first one, which also definitely separates it from the Avengers movies and Civil War. So, everybody has their favorite. His, I think, was obviously going to be The Winter Soldier, and I think many people's is, which brings me to ask you guys, what is your favorite and why?